All right. Hi, and welcome to my individual project. This is an application that I have designed over the past few months. And originally, I wanted to try to do something with code and try to code something like this. But given the time restraints and the guidelines of this project, I decided a design would be better. I haven't done a whole lot of design work, and I thought this would be a cool project to kind of work on that and work on some of the design stuff, especially in Adobe XD. It's a really cool tool. So without further ado, I'll kind of jump into my design and some of the features that are in this app, what the app does, and what the user could do within this app. So to begin with, this is the home screen. And you're going to see various examples throughout. I just used myself here on this home screen, but it welcomes the user. There's a calendar where the user can see the date, and the calendar also changes up and interacts each day. So it'll jump from each day. It'll jump over, and this home page is the goal would be to have it be pretty interactive. So day to day, it will jump to the date, and these the look down here will kind of change up. This little tree diagram down here will change up, but also it displays the title of the app. The app is called Heartbeat App, and with the motto "Music tailored for your training." So this is all centered around the fact that this app's purpose is to allow a user to basically join it, and when they join, it starts collecting their health data. So you'll see down here some of the really important data points that I use for this app. Average heart rate, calories burnt, hours of sleep, and a last recorded mood. That's not technically recorded by the program, but it is given by the user in a manual entry portion that you'll see later. But anyway, this app will take data like that, and it will create a personalized playlist for you. So, this all stems from my love for music and my love for fitness. But a lot of people have the issue of their playlist getting stale, or whatever they use to train or work out with, or even just day to day, because this is still something that can apply to everyday life. You're going to work and you like listening to music on your commute to work, but it's getting old, and this is able to really create a playlist that would be interesting and new and has fresh music that is a little bit more custom to your maybe feeling that day. So that was the whole goal behind this. That's why it's called the Heartbeat app. It's kind of like beat for music, and obviously heartbeat for the health side of it. So again, just keep in mind that the purpose of this app is to take health data and create a playlist. So that was really what I wanted to focus on, and how can a user get the most out of that goal. I'm going to go ahead and go through some of these tabs down here in the row section. In this row down here, you have all your, I kind of kept this a little bit how Apple does a lot of their apps, with the home button, and you have a music portion, a social portion, and then a profile portion. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. First off, I'll go into each of these little buttons here. So the user on this home screen can go in and look at their data. Again, data is not really the most important thing in this app. The outcome is the playlist. So the data portion wasn't too important to me. So I wanted to use this home screen as a way a user could go in and look at, how many calories are they burning each minute, each hour, and throughout what time during the day. If you go back to the home screen, you can do the same thing for hours of sleep, and as I showed you for heart rate. And then there's also this interesting little thing I wanted to include that I think is important for anyone who's trying to get a playlist made for them by this thing, is that they need to be able to input their mood. So this is where you can look at how you were feeling on what day. NR is just not recorded. Some people may choose not to record their mood. But if I go back to the home screen, so that's really, and you'll see this come up later on with the last recorded mood. Actually, you'll see it next when I go into the music tab. So I'm going to click in the music tab. I like that it can highlight itself down here once it's been chosen and selected. And I wanted to keep the music portion of it pretty basic, at least this area. This is where a user can start selecting the types of filters they want for their music, so that it's not totally, so this program isn't running totally out of control within the app. So you can select the number of songs. It goes up to 40 here. This would be a sliding bar that a user can choose between 1 and 40. And then I wanted to include this interesting part. I've seen a lot of designers start to use this within their apps or their web pages with the tagging system. So I included, just a search bar where people can look up. I've already put these tags in just as a display of what it would look like. But I can go ahead and get rid of like Post Malone if I wanted to. And basically, like, the idea is to use these tags to kind of give the program a little bit more of a narrower alleyway for how it's going to pick the songs for you. So if you have some of these tags with different genres or artists, it may be able to say, okay, they're happy right now and they're working out because their heart rate is so high, it looks like. So let's make sure that we include some genres of music they like that have a higher maybe tempo, or just things that are going to align more with them and what's going on. So next is the last part of this is just the mood stamp. And like I said, with that calendar interface, whatever the user selects here when they generate their playlist is going to go on that calendar. So they have the option to choose between happy, kind of meh in the middle, and then kind of sad or upset. So just, again, just keeping it basic with 3 options, because if the program has too many things to work with, it's probably not going to do great, and it's not going to give you a good playlist. So I'm going to go ahead and, for just a user purpose and for this walkthrough, I'm going to choose happy. You'll notice the generate playlist button down here highlights, and I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what you get is your generated playlist. So ideally in Adobe XD, I wanted to make this a scrollable option. However, it's hard to get this tab bar down here to stay fixed. So that was one issue I ran into with this design. So I just went ahead and created this little scroll icon over here, just to show that this would be an area where you could scroll and find all your playlist songs. Again, this is your generated playlist. So I can also go ahead and click into the songs. Let's say I want to play Better Now, Post Malone. I'm going to click into it, and you can view the song here in the player. I wish that image was a little less blurry, but I can go ahead and play it and pause it. You can also do the same thing within, if I go to, and I'll show you this also, I'll go ahead and show you now. If I go to my user profile, I can also, select one of my previous playlists. This one's like the same one, and let's say I again select Better Now. I can play it here and in your profile from your playlist that you've generated in the past. And you can go ahead and play any of the songs from those past playlists, and pause it, play it, and then if I click on it, it'll take me back to this player. So that's a really nice feature. And yeah, so here I am again at my generated playlist. Next, instead of going back, I'm just going to go into the social tab and show you around in there. So the social tab was something kind of inspired by a lot of this social media, a lot of social media today, and how things are becoming more of this, friends, and what are my friends doing, and staying engaged with those around you. So what I thought would be interesting is say this is you here that's pinging around you. This interface and this tab is meant so you can get a look at who is around you and who is using the app and who is currently, even if they're not using it currently, you can get an idea of, like, you can go into their profile, and I'll show you in a second, and you can take a look at what their playlists are and how they were feeling, and what kind of, you can't access their health data. That's a little bit over the top, but you can certainly check out their playlist, because I think playlists are such a they're kind of a expression of self in a way. You can see what kind of music they have and let that be maybe an inspiration for your day or whatever it may be. So if I go ahead, I'm just going to use this user as an example. If I were here and I saw my friend on this map, or just anyone, which you can search up here for anyone on this map. So I'll go ahead and click in to this user's profile. And you can see right away, and just as an example here, we have Nancy Flackman, and that would be someone around me here. And I can click in and view their profile. And again, so this would be the profile area and profile tab of the application, and this is where you can view a lot of things. So one of the main features I thought needed to be included is that you need to be able to look through all your playlists that you've generated from the app. So again, if this were ideally, if I were able to scroll here, you'd be able to go through and look at, you have your playlist that you generated Saturday, November 2nd, whatever you were doing then, and Wednesday, November 6th, and you can tap into these, and I'll show you that in a second, but you can tap into these and look at your playlist, or you can go over to the workout section, which is going to show you your workout and what you did during that time. So this is a way to look at both the music that was generated during that time, or the playlist rather, and then you can also look at the workouts and what your data was. So again, capturing both sides of this app, the data and the music. So going back and forth through these tabs is something that I included to just make it easy on the user. And then I guess we can go into, or quickly, I'll just show you, if you click on this, it takes you into your playlist. So that's pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to profile. So let's pretend we have this blank profile. Nancy was a nice example, but let's pretend we're at a blank profile. This is where a user could select their image and choose their photo. So if they're just getting set up with the app, and if they could go into settings, and this is where they're going to get a lot of things set up when they first begin. So there's a lot in here that I think is important for this. So first off, just the basics: full name, email. If you click into these, it pulls you up with full name, email, and then you notice under Stacy's profile earlier that she had her city and state underneath her profile, so you can add extra information there. So I think if let me just go back real quick. Oh, and we'll get rid of that real quick. So let me go back into settings. So in settings, again, you can click into there and you can enter your information in. But then down here is what's really important within settings. So this app obviously needs something to connect with it. Two things really to connect with it. It needs something to collect your data for you, such as some sort of health, third source health collection method. So either a Polar watch or heart rate monitor. Polar is doing a lot with heart rate monitors and stuff these days. They're pretty popular, so that's what inspired me to use Polar on this. And then Apple Health, or with an Apple Watch. I think those are two really big popular things. I think if I were to include one more, it'd be something like Fitbit. Everyone, I feel like, at least a majority of people had a Fitbit or have had a Fitbit or whatnot. So that's another really popular one. But I went with two that I was pretty familiar with. And for my design, I just wanted to use this in just simple connect. We've seen it all before within Apple products. They have just this nice connect button that you can tab back and forth. For this, it's just a display that you are connected to a Polar device, and this would be what would happen once you connect. So down here, I'm not connected to an Apple Watch, but up here I'm connected to, say, a Polar watch instead. So you can't technically, I guess you could, but have two things connected at once. And so down here is just to display what it would look like if you're not connected. So if I don't have an Apple Watch connected, it's going to read down here, no Apple Watch is connected. And then it's going to have the button pair Apple Watch now. So again, for the purpose of, and for time's sake, in this walkthrough, I didn't include an area where you could click into this and walk through. But basically, if you clicked it, the idea is that it would take you to an Apple screen where you would connect it, and then it would just run back and pipeline back to this screen, which would view that or show the user that they're connected. So again, another part of this settings tab is just this little tab up here where you can filter between or go between one area to the next. So if I clicked into music, which is the other side of things, remember you have your data side and your music side. I'm going to click into music, and so this is the area where you have to connect to one of your preferred streaming platforms. So you have Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, and there's a million out there. I thought that these three are the most popular, these ones I've heard of, so I thought that was easy to go with those. And I did actually go deeper into this just to show you what it would look like if you clicked into it. Say Spotify here. It would pull up this like login screen, something that we're probably familiar with whenever you have to connect to a third-party system within an app. It would bring you to this login screen, and I can go ahead and let's pretend like I entered my credentials in for the purpose of this walkthrough, and go ahead and go in. It would read connection successful, and it would take you to this page. Now it would come back to where we were, except it would read that is connected. So basically what that now allows the program to do is it's given it the ability to access all your Spotify playlists, songs, whatever you've listened to, and same goes for SoundCloud or Apple Music. They'd have to interact differently with the program, but it would go in and be able to take the songs within Spotify or within SoundCloud, and these are a little bit different. I know as a SoundCloud user myself, SoundCloud has a lot of songs that aren't mainstream, so maybe if you're not a mainstream song type listener, you can get a lot of interesting, your playlist can be even more interesting. I know a lot of people will go on SoundCloud and create playlists where there's just a ton of different songs that may not have even made it to Spotify, or so that's kind of cool, and one thing that I think makes this app even more interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to health data, and actually I'll go back to my profile. So again, let's say I'm setting things up, just looking at my profile here. I can go into my workouts again and look at that. And then so one thing I also wanted to include that I've seen in a lot of apps that I thought may just be a nice other feature and to kind of balance out this profile area is to just include this little tab up here at the top, where you just have things come out that are very basic. You can learn about the app, you can or what maybe the Heartbeat app company is doing. Again, you can learn about them on social media, and then there's a tutorial section. So again, for the purpose and time of this project, I didn't want to include these tabs, but I thought, why not at least display them on my profile section? I know that's something that a lot of apps are doing these days, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And so yeah, I think that's just about it. I think really, again, the purpose of this whole application is to give the user the ability to create custom playlists and give them the ability to, even something that I hadn't even thought of in the beginning is this social area where they can look at other people's playlists and go to their profiles and check out what's going on with them. So so this was my idea that I originally, like I said, wanted to kind of code, but given my knowledge with coding, I don't know how successful that would have been. I think this would be a really cool project to maybe continue in my free time, and especially now that I kind of have a design or at least a pathway for what I would want it to look like and do. But like I said, the design work was a little bit new to me. I'd never done something like this before, and so it was really fun to get to work with Adobe XD and figure out how to do certain things, like even on this homepage, the shadowing of these characters and the shadowing of and like the glow from the heart, doing things that are a little bit more artistic in nature, which for me is not something that I've ever really possessed. Yeah, I just want to thank you for watching this walkthrough. And this class has been a lot of fun, just working on this and getting my hands on something new within the tech field. So like I said, design is a really interesting thing to me, and finally being able to do something with it here with this project has been really cool and fun. And I definitely hope to continue to try to get better within XD. This, again, like I said, having this be my first time in XD, like I'm really curious about learning more tools and learning more tips and tricks within it, because I've definitely had to kind of use this time to not only research how to put together something like this, but just watching videos and tutorials on how to use XD as well. So so thank you for watching, and have a great holiday.